According to the editorial board at the Washington Post, President Trump is responsible for hurricanes. He rocks you like a hurricane. President Trump, apparently, through flatulence alone, can generate hurricanes. Here is what the Washington Post says. This is their editorial board. But don't worry, they're not generating a feeling of extreme rhetoric with regard to politics in any way, shape, or form. Politics is the be-all, end-all. Here's what they say, quote, "Yet again, a massive hurricane feeding off unusually warm ocean water has the potential to stall over heavily populated areas, menacing millions of people. Last year, Hurricane Harvey battered Houston. Now Hurricane Florence threatens to drench already waterlogged swaths of the East Coast, including the nation's capital. If the Category 4 hurricane does indeed hit the Carolinas this week, it will be the strongest storm on record to land so far north." President Trump issued several warnings on his Twitter feed Monday, counseling those in Florence's projected path to prepare and listen to local officials. That was good advice. Yet, when it comes to extreme weather, Mr. Trump is complicit. He's complicit. Apparently, the hurricane calls up the president, and the president's like, "Listen, I can't help you out, hurricane. But what I can do is I can keep my mouth shut. I will be complicit in your sins, hurricane." He plays, so it used to be the Democrats blamed the Juden for the weather. Right? We got that from that Democrat crazy person in Washington, D.C. The Jews were responsible for the weather. Now President Trump is controlling the weather. There's this meme on Twitter where you say something like, President Trump, I can't believe he just did, flips through notebook, and then you land on some random thing. Right? So flip through, I can't believe that he's responsible for flips through notebook. Dog abandonment. Right? This is that, right? I can't believe President Trump is responsible for flips through notebook. Hurricane. Hey, here's what they say. He plays down humans' role in increasing the risks. He continues to dismantle efforts to address those risks. And now it should be straight. If President Trump signed on to every leftist proposal on global warming today, it would have no impact on hurricanes today. None. Okay, so that hurricane would still be a coming down the pike. Okay, but they say it is hard to attribute any single weather event to climate change, which is their admission. They have no way to actually attribute this hurricane to climate change, but that's not going to stop them. There is no reasonable doubt that humans are priming the Earth's systems to produce disasters. Well, I mean, there's some reasonable doubt about the level to which humans are doing that and the solutions that can be taken with regard to it. In fact, in 1 second, I'm going to give you all the evidence. But the Washington Post continues. They say, atmospheric research, Kevin Trenberth, a climate researcher at the National Center for Atmospheric Research, co-wrote a May paper showing that Harvey's cataclysmic wetness came from the unusual hot Gulf of Mexico water that fed the hurricane before it slammed into Texas. Harvey could not have produced so much rain without human-induced climate change, he and his colleagues concluded. Now Florence is feasting on warm Atlantic Ocean water, all of which, by the way, drove the president to say that this hurricane was extremely hard and extremely wet, which was very weird. Now Florence is feasting on warm Atlantic Ocean water, says the Washington Post. The ocean is warming up systematically, Mr. Trenberth said, explaining that through natural variation can turn surface temperatures up or down a bit, the ocean's energy content is inexorably rising. It is the strongest signal of global warming, Mr. Trenberth added. It's very weird how everything bad that happens is an effect of global warming. If it's bad snowstorms, it's an effect of global warming. If it's a bad hurricane, it's an effect of global warming. Again, I'm not somebody who believes that humans are not contributing to global warming. I think that humans probably are contributing to global warming by all available evidence. The question is, what is the climate sensitivity? How much are humans contributing to global warming? And what can actually be done about that? Is maybe the best idea technological progress as opposed to cap and trade systems that are actually not going to mitigate the effect of global warming in any serious way. But the Washington Post nonetheless blames the President of the United States. They say the Trump administration has now attacked all three pillars of President Barack Obama's climate change plan. Except that when Barack Obama had his plan, the hurricanes were still hitting the United States, so this is quite silly. Also, it is worth noting that major hurricanes in the United States are at about their average. Okay, so it's funny. The latest line that you were hearing, for a while, what you were hearing from the left was the number of hurricanes is increasing. That's not true. The number of hurricanes is not increasing.